Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here and welcome back to our next episode of the SWE Universe Mode. We are here with week number 2 of Octane and we've got a big night for you here this evening. We're going to name another 2 men that will be making their way forward to the Elimination Chamber next week and much more. So we are going to start things off here this evening with a Cruiserweight Championship #1 contendership match between Tyson Kidd and PJ Black. And here we go. So yeah, this one is a Cruiserweight Championship #1 contendership match. And the winner of this one will go on to Locked and Loaded, our first pay-per-view in a couple of weeks' time, to take on, of course, Sin Cara, the current Cruiserweight Champion. And talking of Sin Cara, we did see him in a dark match earlier on this evening. Himself and his tag team partner Kalisto teamed up to take on Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. And they came out on the losing side of that match. So a big win there for Enzo and Cass. First appearance in this universe mode for them as well. And we also had a women's triple threat match. Interesting one this. Carmella, who won the Fatal 4-Way last week and is guaranteed a championship match at Locked and Loaded, lost the match. As did Summer Rae, and it was Emma who picked up the victory. So a big win there for Emma. That's going to give her a few stat points going forward, a few ranking points, should I say, going forward. And she might just force her way into a strong position after the first women's champion here of Octane is crowned. And this is good. I like this match. 2 guys who didn't get a lot of use in the previous universe mode. PJ Black came in very late. TJ Perkins. I've forgotten his name now. Tyson Kidd. Tyson Kidd wasn't seen at all in the previous universe mode. So this is his first appearance in SWE. And what a first appearance it is. He's got a chance to get himself a championship match straight away, but the Darewolf stands in his way. And yeah, I don't know. I like Sin Cara, but I don't know if he's necessarily the strongest Cruiserweight champion we could have. We've got some strong guys as roster. I don't think our Cruiserweight division is quite as good as PJ Toby's is over on Adrenaline. Now, that's the only thing. But we do have guys like Jack Gallagher, Pete Dunne, Noam and Mark Andrews as well as PJ Black, Tyson Kidd. We got Xavier Woods, Kalisto as well, Juventud Guerrera, Tyler Breeze, who I'm going to class as a Cruiserweight. The Singh brothers, I suppose, could be Cruiserweights as well. So we do have some possibilities, and even Ricky Steamboat actually as well. And we've got the Time Splitters, of course, the tag team champions, the Young Bucks as well as a tag team. Actually, I'm a little bit tough on there. I think we do have some really strong Cruiserweights then, I suppose, don't we? But PJ Toby's probably got the more... I don't know. He's got Ricochet, he's got Ospreay, he's got Leo Rush, Cedric Alexander, Rich Swann. He's got probably the more mainstream Cruiserweight. I don't know. We've got a very different style of Cruiserweights, I suppose. He might have the more high flyers, maybe, whereas we've got the more all-rounded Cruiserweights. And even Enzo Amore is going to be classed as a Cruiserweight in this as well, because he is a dinky man, isn't he? He's a bit dinky. So matches we've got for you this evening. We're going to have our second European Championship qualifier match. Of course, last week, we did expect this, but last week Jack Gallagher defeated Pete Dunne and Sheamus in a triple threat match to get himself into that European Championship match at Locked and Loaded next week. And this evening we're going to see Cesaro versus Noam versus Mark Andrews to join Jack Gallagher in that match. Also, we've got Adam Cole taking on Rick Rude one-on-one in a match which is solely for rankings. And then we're going to have another 2 Elimination Chamber qualifiers. We're going to see Alberto Del Rio taking on Daniel Bryan. And we're also going to see in our main event here this evening, The Rock taking on Hiroshi Tanahashi. So 2 big matches. Of course, last week we confirmed that Kenny Omega and Ric Flair will be the first 2 men inside that Elimination Chamber. It's going to be a hell of a match, it really is. And a great way to crown our first ever Octane champion. PJ Black in charge of this match at the moment. Another drink. Ah, lovely. PJ Black, yeah, firm control of this one. Big boot into the gut of Tyson Kidd now, and Black going to the other side of the ropes, in for a springboard 450. Beautiful move. Tyson Kidd looks really out here, but PJ Black just going really aggressive with this. And locking in the head scissors. There's the elbows to the forehead, and Tyson Kidd is trying to camouflage into the ring though of his gear. And a lion salt now by PJ Black. Only a 2 count. Oh, referee's getting a face full there. Referee got a minor teabag in the corner. That's what you get to being in the way, I suppose. But PJ Black continues to dominate Tyson Kidd. I don't know how long Tyson can go for. There's the air raid slam now. PJ Black up on the top turnbuckle. We know he likes to go for the 450 as a finisher maneuver. And here it is, the 450. There's the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And PJ Black is going on to Locked and Loaded to face off against Sin Cara for the Cruiserweight Championship. And my computer made a loud beeping noise in the middle of that conversation. Good win there for PJ Black. He dominated this one from start to finish, really. So that sort of shows why it was quite a strong victory for him, I suppose. And it shows that he deserves this championship match if he's going to dominate other people in the roster like this. And I don't know, I'm not 100% sure that I think Sin Cara is as good as Tyson Kidd. And I think I would put PJ Black down as a favourite to take that Cruiserweight Championship away from Sin Cara, you know. Would not surprise me at all. We'll have to wait and see until Locked and Loaded, which is not this week, it's next. It's tricky. In-game, it is next weekend, but of course we do an episode every other day, so we're looking at... it's going to be uploaded, I think it's going to be uploaded on the 3rd of July. There you go. And here we go, here it's time now for the triple threat match. Of course, the winner of this one will go on to face off against Jack Gallagher at Locked and Loaded for the European Championship. And here we go. Big match, this one. And you can't really say who's going to win this one, can you, really? Because last week we assumed that Sheamus would be the man to walk out of that first triple threat with that position at the pay-per-view in the European Championship match, but it was actually Jack Gallagher who managed to pick up that victory. So you can't write anybody off. You would think on paper that Cesaro would be the strong man in this one. You think that Cesaro would be the one who would most likely to win this, but you can never really tell. You've got that superior speed and flexibility, maybe Mark Andrews, and just the Glaswegian cunning that is Noam Dar. Be interesting to see now exactly who comes out of this one on top, because if it's not a Cesaro victory, then we could have a European champion we were not expected at the beginning of this Universe mode, I must admit. Which is not a bad thing. Like I said, the game will do as the game will do, I suppose. That's the way I look at it. Here he is, the Swiss Superman himself, Cesaro. And he'll be determined now to walk in here, because I, like a lot of people out there, believe that Cesaro should be holding gold at some point. He was mentioned in our, myself and PJ Tovey's underutilized wrestlers list that we did on a Shabby Talk, and I don't know, he is underutilized, don't get me wrong, but at the same time he has had a lot of good stuff, I suppose, over the past few years. He's never really been given the championship opportunity to hold the main event belt like we all assume he would do at some point in his career. However, he's now several-time tag team champion. He's held the United States Championship. He's not done too badly in his career. He's been a Heyman guy for a small amount of time as well, and I just wonder whether eventually, if he does maybe move to SmackDown at some point, whether he will get that championship opportunity. I don't think he will on Raw, because Raw seems to have a different mentality about things. They seem to want to continue making the rich rich and the poor poor in terms of championships, and I don't know, it just, Raw seems more for me like it's a bit more old-fashioned, maybe. they like their Brock Lesnar's and they like their people like that rather than trying to give new talent an opportunity. Then again, they've done pretty well with, I suppose, with Finn Balor. It all depends, I suppose. I might have been a bit harsh on Raw. If Finn Balor gets another chance to hold the championship, then I'm hoping that that does happen. But that might prove me wrong at some point then. Cesaro straight away just launching Noam Dar across the ring via his head. Never a good position to be in. Noam Dar continues. He's just taunting the crowd now, Noam Dar. Hey, it looks like Noam Dar and Mark Andrews might have come together. Oh, no, I'll take it back. I was going to say they might have come together here to sort of try and take Cesaro down first since he's the biggest threat, but Noam Dar with that inverted figure 4 leg lock. Maybe there is going to be no allegiances in this one, which would be a bit of a surprise. Because like I said before, you would have thought that maybe Mark Andrews and Noam Dar might try and isolate Cesaro, take him out of the match, and then maybe fight it out afterwards for the victory, but you never know, these two could pull it off on their own. No reason why not. Mark Andrews now willing Cesaro back up to his feet. Springboard dropkick to the back of Cesaro. Noam Dar's back up on his feet now and enters the ring. Just as Cesaro taking Mark Andrews down, but Noam Dar catches him the boot in the gut. Went for the dropkick to the knee, but Cesaro avoided it. Oh, and this time now just taking the knee out. And that's a clever move by Noam Dar. Of course, Cesaro is known for his strength, but taking the knee out is definitely going to be a great way of trying to reduce the amount of strength that Cesaro can inflict on the other two guys. But it's also going to weaken the legs of Cesaro potentially if Noam Dar wishes to go for a knee lock. You see, he's definitely going for submissions here on Mark Andrews, but Andrews fighting free. And Noam Dar knows that his best way of winning this is to probably make one of these two guys submit. Big jumping running forearm there by Cesaro. Now taking it out on Mark Andrews. There's the very European uppercut as well. Noam Dar sending Cesaro into the corner. Dar now sending Cesaro across. Big running uppercut himself in the corner. Mark Andrews avoiding the running clothesline by Dar. Both these guys avoiding each other until finally Mark Andrews catching Dar with a couple of clotheslines, then a drop kick as well. Noam Dar rolls out of the ring. Mark Andrews there with a suplex. Remember, Mark Andrews likes to utilize the shooting star press as a finish maneuver. He's going to go for the corkscrew moonsault now. He's got it. 1, 2, and Noam Dar was there just in time to break it up. I just can't wait for 2K18 to come out because people like Mark Andrews should be on the game, but I'm thinking Noam Dar definitely will be. As Andrews now, there's the shooting star press. Cesaro's down. 1, 2. Oh, Cesaro did not turn around in time, but luckily for him, Noam Dar kicked out just in time. Cesaro now launched into the corner. Mark Andrews, there's the DDT. Into the pin now, 1. Only a 1 count, wow. Bringing Noam Dar back up to his feet, there's a spinning heel kick. Oh, and a big kick to the side of the face of Noam Dar as well. Going for the pin once again, maybe knocked him out. But again, it's only enough for a 2 count. Cesaro, again, would not have made it there. Andrews now into the sunset flip bomb on Cesaro. And Noam Dar just coming up behind Andrews into a reverse suplex. And Noam Dar continues his assault on Cesaro. Drops into the pin and Dar trying to steal this one. 1, 2. Again, only enough for a 2 count. Cesaro slowly back up. There's a big forearm to the face of Noam. Oh, now Cesaro looking for a neutralizer. And there it is. Mark Andrews is down on the outside. 1, 2, Andrews is in. Is he going to get there in time? He's not. And Cesaro wins the match. And Cesaro is going on to face off against Jack Gallagher at Locked and Loaded to become the first ever Octane European Champion. Good victory by Cesaro, actually. All three guys look to have their very good opportunities, and you have to say that although maybe Mark Andrews and Noam Dar are considered more as cruiserweights in this division, they've showed what they can do here. They've done a very good job, actually. I'm quite impressed. And it was a very evenly fought match, actually. I think it was only the situation that that Cesaro took that got him the victory. Mark Andrews was down on the outside at the time. You see Mark Andrews going for the pin as well after that tornado DDT on Cesaro. Clever maneuver. Here you go. Andrews is down on the outside. Cesaro with a neutralizer rolls him into the pin. Andrews is just too slow getting in the ring, and by the time he does finally get there, it's already over. And Cesaro gets the free count. Cesaro, you've got to put him down now as a favourite to become our first ever European champion here on Octane. Fighting against Jack Gallagher, a lot more experience than Jack Gallagher, but you never know. Jack Gallagher surprised us a lot in the past, and Locked and Loaded could be another one of those nights. And here is our next match of the evening. It is going to be another Elimination Chamber qualifying match as Alberto Del Rio takes on Daniel Bryan for the right to join Kenny Omega and Ricochet. Kenny Omega and Ric Flair, not Ricochet, inside the hellacious steel structure. And here we go. Chance for Del Rio here. Not quite sure how I see him this high at the card, but there was 12 chances to join. I only wanted to put one member of Bullet Club in there because it could have got, well, the way the AI works in the game, if we had like 2 or 3 members of Bullet Club inside the Elimination Chamber, they wouldn't have worked together. So I decided that the best thing to do was just to allocate one member of Bullet Club the opportunity, which did free up the opportunities for other people, such as Alberto Del Rio, of course, former WWE World Champion, so no reason why he couldn't join the ranks of SWE champions as well. Of course, former TNA champion as well, former AAA champion, former Lucha Underground. No, he wasn't Lucha Underground champion, was he? Interesting match though, and against Daniel Bryan as well. Not quite sure if I fancied. Not sure if I fancied Del Rio in this one. Must be voice again. Ugh. That's better. I've had a drink now. Sometimes recording these episodes, my voice just go halfway through. I get too excited. That's the problem, I think. See. Good old Del Rio. And he, as I say, I don't really fancy his chances here. Winning is one thing, but winning against the likes of Daniel Bryan is something completely different, I think. And here comes the man who I think will be joining. It'd be interesting if he does, if he joins Ric Flair inside that steel. And you can imagine the match between Daniel Bryan and Kenny Omega. That's a match I can't wait to see, that one. And I'm sure it will happen at some point. Even if it's not for a championship, then maybe I can sneak it in just as a rankings match, maybe. And I am sort of doing this universe mode a little bit less like WWE and a little bit more like PWG. So there might be the odd feud here and there, but I think a lot of this is going to be down to just putting together fantastic matches and hoping for the best, and matches for ranking systems and so forth like that. But we will integrate the odd feud here and there, but I wouldn't say the feuds are necessarily going to be very rigid and ongoing, if that makes sense. It's more I more want to sell this universe mode based on the wrestling ability rather than feuds now, because the feuds in this game are not very effective. If we could use the storyline editor like they used to have on the old games, then definitely we would do that a lot more. But at the moment, Yeah, I just like the idea of just like I say, if we want to put Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega together for a match at the pay-per-view, let's just do it. We don't have to build up to it, make some stupid reason for them to face off. We just want the two of them to face off. And it could be for a championship. It could be for just for rankings points. It could just be for anything really. And there's a lot of people across all these different rosters that we really want to see. And for example, next week we are going to see the Young Bucks versus the Revival. Now that's a tag team match that a lot of people would love to see. Also next week, Eddie Guerrero versus Edge in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. We've got Jinder Mahal with the Sings taking on Chris Daniels in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Breeze Dango versus Time Splitters next week as well. And we've also got the other women's qualifying match for the Women's Championship at Locked and Loaded as well, which is going to be Sexy Star versus Taya Valkyrie versus Ruby Riott versus Brie Bella. So the winner of that one will go on to face off against Carmella at Locked and Loaded for the Women's Championship. So really good episodes for you. And like I said, we're not having to try and explain them all with feuds. We're just putting together some cracking matches. And I think that's the main thing, really. Like I say, there will be feuds at some point. If you watch a lot of PWG, you'll know exactly what it was, the way it's sort of done, really. You just, there are loose feuds, like at the moment, they've just had a loose feud between Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta against Zack Sabre Jr. and Marty Scurll. And, yeah, I like that. I think I prefer it that way. As I've got a little bit older, I've started to appreciate wrestling more for the wrestling than actually for some of the dodgy storylines. Don't get me wrong, some of the dodgy storylines are quite entertaining. Like, I must admit, I've really enjoyed, and don't tell PJ Toby I've said this, and hopefully he won't hear me, but yeah, I've really enjoyed this recent Breeze Dango run. I think some of the stuff they've been up to has been incredible sort of comedy action, and it really has been quite funny. And to show how good Tyler Breeze is, the man managed to get a mop over at a pay-per-view. That just shows how good that guy currently is, and I'm looking forward to seeing them next week on Octane in a match against Time Splitters, which will be quite interesting as well. Because of course Time Splitters are the current tag team champions here on Octane. The way that I've done it as well is if you defeat a champion, you instantly get 50 ranking points, which is massive, absolutely huge. And of course that means if you defeat a champion at a pay-per-view, you get double that. If it's a pay-per-view main event, you get triple that. So it's big. It really is big. You can get a lot of ranking points. Have I done that? I don't know if I'm still trying to figure out the weightings. I don't know whether that's a bit too much, maybe, that weighting. Especially if they get doubled and tripled. It means if you become the champion, then you get 150 points. That's actually pretty big, isn't it? Maybe that's a bit too much. I might have to look at reducing that. I'll have to... I say everything's not rigid at the moment. Things will develop and start to evolve as the universe mode goes on. But I think that number might be a bit crazy. For example, yeah, I think I did change it, didn't I? I had main event. If you beat the main event champion, you get 50 points. If you defeat the upper mid card, you get 25 points. If you defeat the tag team champions, you get 50 points. I don't know. I'll have to have a look at that. Maybe I'll make it a maybe 30 and 20 and 10, maybe, I don't know. You should get a boost in rankings for defeating a champion, because defeating a champion normally will make you the #1 contender. And I don't mind 50 points. 50 points is fine, but if they're doubled or tripled, or maybe I can just make the rule so that if you do beat a champion, you don't get double or tripled. I'll have to figure this out. They're in a backed away in the corner. And a big kick in the back of Daniel Bryan. I suppose it all depends on where we see the ranking points going, because if you look at it, if somebody defeats a champion in a main event, that gives them 150 points. They're already on 100 to start with at the minimum, which means that'll put them up to 250 points, which means they're going to have to lose then 30 matches to get back down to 100 points. Which is, yeah, I think that's a bit too much, I think. Maybe I'll keep the scores as they are, but they just won't be. They won't be part of the double and triple points. I think that'll probably be the best way of doing it. Yeah, that'll be our new rule. If you do defeat a champion, it's not subject to the double or triple points. What on earth was that noise? Just had a bizarre noise on my desk and I don't know what it came from. It came from my work phone, okay. My battle res are dead. Del Rio now backstabber on Daniel Bryan. I'll be surprised if Del Rio defeats Bryan here, but it's possible. Oh, it's on the brink of a free count. Del Rio now stamping on the arm. Sending Daniel Bryan face first into the turnbuckle, spins him round. Del Rio got planned here. Oh, Bryan catches him with a jawbreaker and then a discus forearm as well. Both these guys are desperate to become the first ever Octane champion. Del Rio once again sending Daniel Bryan into the corner again. Bryan fighting free. Does not want to be locked inside that corner now. Boot to the calf, and here we go. Daniel Bryan with the kicks in the chest. And a big one to finish off right to the side of the head on Alberto Del Rio. Now brings him back up to his feet. Ooh. Del Rio fighting free. And now locks him into the cross armbar. Del Rio has Daniel Bryan locked in the armbar. Is he going to get a submission victory here? He's done some damage to the arms already. It's possible. No, Daniel Bryan rolling it through. Oh, big right hand to the face now of Del Rio. Del Rio went for the kick to the back, but Bryan avoids it now. Clubbing both to the back and now locked into the bell lock as well. Is this going to be able to make Alberto Del Rio tap out? It is, and Daniel Bryan is going on to the Elimination Chamber, joining Kenny Omega and Ric Flair inside that structure to fight out to become the first ever Octane champion. Massive win for Daniel Bryan. And really turned that one round because he was literally on the brink of, well, he was, as I say, he was on the brink of losing, but yeah, he was on the brink of submitting, managed to get out of the submission, get back up and catch Alberto Del Rio in his own submission hold and actually pick up the victory. So really, from rags to riches, that one, it looked like he may end up losing the match to actually going on to winning it. Backstabber there earlier on by Del Rio, and that was not enough to keep Mr. Bryan down. Yeah, avoiding that kick to the back, and then there was the first. That was the first bell lock, I think it was. Or was that the second one? Difficult from this camera. I think that might have been the first one. No, that was the second one. It's difficult when they change the camera angles. But there you go, Daniel Bryan, like I said, joining Kenny Omega and Ric Flair inside the Elimination Chamber next week in our pay-per-view. And really, Daniel Bryan could become our first ever Octane champion. I don't think Bryan's held... I know Bryan held the television championship on Mayhem for a short period of time, didn't he? Before losing it to Finn Balor. So I don't know whether... No, Bryan has definitely not held a main event championship so far, so this could be his first opportunity to do so. And it's coming at Locked and Loaded. And here is our next match of the evening. It is going to be solely for the rankings. It is Adam Cole taking on Rick Rude. And here we go. Now, of course, things have changed. I think I mentioned this last week. Since we... it actually happened on the night me and PJ Toby did the draft. Was when Bullet Club removed Adam Cole forcibly from the stable. Which is a problem for us because, of course, we drafted him. And of course, they have brought in Marty Scurll instead. Now, I do plan on doing something along the lines of bringing Marty Scurll in soon. It won't be yet. It might be in the next pay-per-view, maybe. And we'll figure it out. I'm waiting for a good Marty Scurll to come on the Community Creations, to be honest, because... That's the reason why I left him out of the draft this time, is because there wasn't a very good version of him. So hopefully there's going to be a better version of him very, very soon. But I'm assuming now, because he's a Bullet Club member, everyone and his dog is going to be currently making a version of him. And that's what we'll do. I think, as I mentioned at Adrenaline Rush, the pay-per-view a few days ago, I think as time goes on, we will start to change some of the rosters around a little bit, I think. And Not much. I think I've sort of said to PJ Toad maybe 2 names per month we'll be able to change. 2 cores, obviously, will change per month. And the physical guys on the game might as well stay exactly where they are, unless we decide we want to draft them across or swap them at any point in time. And here comes the ravishing one himself, Rick Rude. And again, another man who was not involved in Season 1 of our Universe mode, so really getting a great opportunity here to show exactly what he can do. And I keep saying this is Season 2, but I really feel this is where our Universe mode is really going to start, because Season 1, I believe, I think Season 1 may have just really been our first sort of run through, I think. Our first sort of, maybe like our pilot series. We figured out what worked, we figured out what didn't, and now time is going to move on, and we're going to have exactly as things go on, we're going to really stick to this, I think. This will be an ongoing Universe mode, hopefully for years to come.
What I'd like to have right now is for all you fat, ugly, inner city sweat hogs, keep the noise down while I take my robe off and show the ladies what a real sexy man looks like. Hit the music.
And there is good old Rick Rude himself. He's a cool man to have on the roster anyway. I wonder what they're going to do Legends-wise this year. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm a little bit worried that the fact they might actually cut down the Legends because of the amount of people that are going to have to be on the game. This roster is going to have to be absolutely huge because, like I've said before, since the last time they did this game, they've now added a lot more people to NXT. They've done the draft, which has split a lot more people onto the main roster. People have returned. You've got the Cruiserweight Classic people as well. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I'd be interested to see exactly what 2K and Ukes have done roster-wise, because I don't know if they've got a limited amount of people they can have on a roster. And when you add the CWC people, you add the NXT people, you add the UK preferably as well, which I think they should do. And they might end up with a good 20 people more than they had on this year's game. Which means they might cut down on the Legends, depending on if they bring back Showcase mode, then they'll have to keep the Legends. So I don't know what they're going to do, really. But it'll be good for us because it means that if there's an extra load of people on the game, it means we can use the rest of the cores to download other people. So we're not going to be downloading Cedric Alexander or Bobby Roode or Jinder Mahal, or we would probably have to download the Sing still because I doubt they're going to be on the game. So yeah, this one is solely for rankings points. Big match for both these guys actually to show what they can do. And of course the rankings will continue onwards. If either of these guys do switch rosters, they will take their ranking score with them. And as we start next year's game, of course these guys will keep their ranking scores. Basically what I'll do is if anybody leaves the Universe mode for any reason, for example if they're taken off the game, or if they are we take the core out and use somebody else instead, I'm going to create a separate page called Alumni, and that'll be on the blogger as well, and that will keep track of all of the tag teams and all of the singles wrestlers that have left us, and also it'll take a look at the defunct championships as well. I need to do that because obviously the women's tag team championships is now gone. Only ever held by one tag team, the women's tag team championships, and also the women's junior heavyweight championship is gone now as well. And if we do decide to bring any other championships in or out as time goes on, then we will do, I think. Rick Rude now, there he is with a snap suplex. Now Rude dropping back into the corner. I'm not impressed by what he's being given here by Adam Cole at this point in time. Rick Rude now into a big DDT, middle of the ring on Adam Cole. Now just rubbing his face into the mat as well. Adam Cole boot to the face of Rick Rude, now into a running neck breaker. I'm surprised that the Young Bucks have made their way out here to support Adam Cole. Normally these Bullet Club guys don't come out here alone, do they? Adam Cole, that's that neck breaker there, is just chilling out in the corner, just taking a few seconds to plan his next move, but it just allows Rick Rude a little bit more time to recuperate, which is definitely not the best idea. But Adam Cole now lining him up. And there it is, the Tequila Sunrise. Oh, I'm terrible with his moves. I think that's the Tequila Sunrise, isn't it? It's only a 2 count, though. That's a surprise. Yeah, I think that's the Tequila Sunrise. And then you've got... Oh, what's his other one? His other one is the Straight Jacket Suplex. Straight Jacket German Suplex, which he calls the... I've forgotten now, I really have forgotten. Florida Keys? I can't remember now. It could be Florida Keys. I'm going to have to Google this at some point and find out. Adam Cole now taking Rick Rude onto the shoulder into the Uraganagi. I forgot what that's called as well. The Death Valley Driver into the neckbreaker combination. People keep telling me in the comment section what that's called, but I can just never really seem to remember. Adam Cole now again with that neckbreaker, dropping the suplex onto his knee. Just compresses the spine of Rick Rude there as well. Now Rick Rude lining up Adam Cole now. Maybe Rude's got the answer here to defeat Cole. Here he goes with a neck breaker. Of course, the finisher maneuver of Rick Rude. There's the pin. 1, 2. Oh, and it's only a 2 count. Rick Rude can't believe it. He thought he had this one there and then. Of course, remember, the winner of this match will get 5 points in the ranking system. The loser will lose 5, so it will actually put the winner 10 points ahead of the loser. So it's a big match, really. Neckbreaker now by Adam Cole on Rick Rude. There's the pin. 2. And again, so close to a 3 count. Adam Cole just mounting Rick Rude. Oh my god, the right hand he saw. Instantly the blood starts streaming from the face of Rick Rude. And Adam Cole is giving Rick Rude a rude awakening here to Octane and to SWE in general. Cole now bringing Rude back up to his feet. Up again, oh, into that maneuver again. It's just so vicious. Just dropping him head first onto the knee, and it just, like I said, just compresses the spine. Adam Cole once again lining Rick Rude up. Was he planned here another Tequila Sunrise? Or was it Panama Sunrise? He's the Panama Playboy. Well, he was a Panama. I don't know if he is anymore, but he was. It's enough though for Adam Cole to pick up the victory. And my mind's gone completely blank on Adam Cole. I have to Google it now. Adam Cole. From Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Right. He uses the Florida Key, which is the Bridge and X-Plex. That's what I said. And the Panama Sunrise. I was close. I said Tequila Sunrise. Panama Sunrise is the front flip power driver. Of course, he does use it slightly differently, doesn't he? He uses it from the... he jumps from the middle rope down, then does into the flip. But yeah, the Florida Key is a straight jacket German. And Panama Sun. I knew it was. I'll get myself confused for no reason. And the Fireman's Carry Neckbreaker is what it's actually called on this game. Well, on Wikipedia anyway, Fireman's Kick Neckbreaker. And the Panama City Playboys are his nickname, isn't it? So there we go, big win there for Adam Cole. He gets the ranking points, and that'll do him well. He wants to get in that European Championship picture, I would imagine, for after the pay-per-view, or maybe even the Octane Championship picture. And here we go, it's now time for the main event of the evening. The Rock faces off against Hiroshi Tanahashi for the 4th spot inside the Elimination Chamber. And here we go. This is a hell of a match. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. The Rock takes on Hiroshi Tanahashi in a match where both guys really deserve to be inside the chamber. If you're looking at the the way that the matches, the qualifier matches have panned out, you'd think that both these guys should deserve to be there, but of course only one will be inside the chamber. And it's going to be interesting to see which one of these two guys can pull it out of the bag, really. And both guys were involved in the previous universe mode. Tanahashi had an opportunity at the Throwdown #1 contendership but lost the match. Had an opportunity at the Throwdown Championship inside Elimination Chamber as well, actually at the beginning of that Season 1, but was unable to win that match as well, which eventually was won by Kevin Owens. So he's had a few opportunities, but he's never really been able to make those opportunities stick. So he'll be desperate to try and make this one his night. However, The Rock, not really been given a lot of opportunity on Mayhem at all, really, by PJ Toby. Then I stole him during the Shabby Shaker, brought him to Throwdown, and even then, he had the odd 1 or 2 matches here and there, but still not much going on for The Rock. So this is a great chance for The Rock to prove what he can do as well. And like I said, I think the way that the universe mode is now, with the smaller rosters across 4 brands rather than the obviously the bigger rosters across 2, means that a lot more people are going to get opportunities, which is why we're seeing the likes of Alberto Del Rio, for example, getting a chance at the Elimination Chamber. Of course, he didn't take his chance, but still, he got the opportunity. And same with The Rock, a man who was virtually unseen before, is now in with a chance of becoming the first ever Octane champion if he can defeat Hiroshi Tanahashi and then go on to defeat 5 other men inside the Steel Asylum known as the Elimination Chamber. And here comes his opponent then. Possibly one of the best wrestlers in the entire world, Hiroshi Tanahashi. The John Cena of New Japan, but with a lot more talent. Now, that's a little bit harsh. You know what? I've come to realise over the last couple of years that John Cena has got a lot of ability in his locker. I don't know if he's very much held to his in-ring style because of... I remember reading a long time ago, right, that children enjoy repetition, which is why if you ever watch any kids TV programs, which you will do if you've got a younger brother or sister, or in my case niece and nephews, you'll watch a lot of kids TVs and you'll notice that every episode there's always the same sort of things that happen, and that is because kids enjoy repetition, which is why John Cena has his 5 moves of doom that he has to use in order in every single match, because the younger audience do enjoy the fact that they know the moves that are coming. They enjoy the repetition. They know exactly what moves are coming in what order, and it's a little bit of a shame for Cena, because I do think when he's been given the opportunity, if you look at his matches against maybe CM Punk, that SummerSlam match, or it was Money in the Bank, wasn't it, match? And the matches against AJ Styles this year as well, he's really proved that he can put on a fantastic performance. And I just wonder how much of John Cena's repetitiveness is down to himself, and how much is down to him being limited to what he's allowed to do in the ring. That's a question that I don't know. That's just me talking crap. It might be I might be over defending somebody who doesn't deserve it, but at the same time, like I said, there's a good chance that may be the case, that he's just not being given the opportunity to really showcase his talents in a very long time. But I think he definitely has improved. You saw that little period a couple of years ago where people were really starting to get at him for the 5 moves of doom, and he started to showcase a lot after that some new moves in his arsenal, like the springboard stunner he used to do off the... It wasn't the best move in the world, don't get me wrong, but it just showed that he was willing to... It showed that he was willing to try a few different moves, which was the interesting thing. Well, The Rock's going to regret that, as he gets snake eyes there by Tanahashi. Both these guys, potential, like I say, I think they're both going to hold main event championships at some point in our universe mode, be it in this season, be it in the next couple of weeks, who knows. It's going to be difficult. Inside that chamber, it's going to be very, very difficult. Rock now with a clothesline, taking Tanahashi down. But of course we now know already inside that cell is Kenny Omega, Ric Flair, and as we found out earlier on, Daniel Bryan. This will make it the 4 men. Of course next week we'll find out the last 2, as we'll have Jinder Mahal versus Chris Daniels and Eddie Guerrero versus Edge. So 2 of those guys will join the 4 inside the cell. And it's quite interesting actually, because that match takes place only 3 or 4 days before the actual pay-per-view. So those guys are not going to get a lot of time to recuperate. And I wonder if that's going to be a big advantage to the likes of Kenny Omega and Ric Flair, who've had a bit more chance to recuperate as time's gone on. Rock now taking his chance to recuperate by just slowing the pace down, just twisting the head of Hiroshi Tanahashi. My palms are so itchy. Does that mean I'm going to win the lottery? But I don't think it is, because this is a Monday and I'm recording this. But my palms are really itchy. I don't know why. It's really annoying me. I do apologise. I've just gone off on a tangent again. You should know by now that I'm good at going off on tangents. Rock now belly to belly suplex, or belly to belly throw more really, on Tanahashi. There's the pin. It's only enough for a 2 count. At the moment, The Rock looks like he's in charge of this one. Big elbow to the top of the head of Hiroshi Tanahashi. Dragging him into the middle of the ring. Slamming him arm first into the mat as well, as iTunes is trying to update itself. Go away, no one cares about you, iTunes. Useless Apple. I hate Apple. German suplex now by Tanahashi, now bringing Rock back up to his feet, but Rock taking him down. Taking him down to Pound Town. Now taking Tanahashi down once again. Every time Tanahashi tries to gain a little bit of momentum, Rock seems to just have that answer and turns it back around in his favour. Rock now just staring down at the ground at Tanahashi, and as soon as he started moving, the boot to the back, and another one now just forcing Tanahashi back down to the ground. He went for another kick there, but Tanahashi avoids it. Tanahashi with a sling blade. Oh, I thought he was going to go for the frog splash then. I thought he was going to go for the high fly flow. But Rock crawling away. Obviously, done his research on his opponent. Snap suplex there by Rocky. Into a stomp on the chest as well. And a stomp on the back of the arm of Tanahashi. And an elbow across the face. And now Rock again, just slowing the pace of this one down. He's in firm control at this point in time. Bringing him back up to his feet. Spring off the ropes. Oh! Launched him up and caught him into a rock bottom. The Rock out of nowhere catching Tanahashi. Launched him up in the air and caught him in a rock bottom. 2. And no, it's only a 2 count. Wow. The Rock can't believe it. I don't think Tanahashi can believe he just kicked out of that either. Just launched him up in the air and caught him in that rock bottom. Where did that come from? I thought he was going to go for like a spine buster or something. Again, Tanahashi, every time he gets back up to his feet, Rock is just there to take him down again. Rock dropping the leg drop right in the knee of Tanahashi. And now looking in the middle of the ring. That explains that leg drop to the knee now as he locks in the sharpshooter submission hold. Rock has been in firm control of this match the whole way through, and now looking to try and get Hiroshi Tanahashi to submit if he won't get into pin. No, Tanahashi uses leg strength there to break out of that. But Rock is there once again, this time with a Russian leg sweep, and I'll be surprised if Tanahashi can come back from this. It's not looking like he's going to, though, as The Rock is lining up once again. And there it is, the second rock bottom of the match. And surely The Rock is going to win this. There's the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And there we go. The Rock is going to be the 4th man inside the Elimination Chamber. Wow, this match is going to end up looking fantastic. Ric Flair, Kenny Omega, Daniel Bryan and The Rock are already inside that hellacious structure. Next week, either Jinder Mahal and Chris Daniels and either Eddie Guerrero or Edge will be joining them. And again, The Rock just dominated this one. He really did. And Tanahashi's going to lose some stat points with this. The Rock is, of course, going to gain 10 because it was a main event match. So he's going to gain the 10 stat points. Tanahashi is going to drop 5. Which is going to put Tanahashi right down the bottom, really. I think it's going to put him joint bottom, I think, because I don't think anybody's wrestled and lost 2 matches as yet. But of course, as time goes on, that will happen. But there you go. That is all we've got time for here this evening on Octane. I hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, if you have, then please do hit that like button. It does really help us out. And of course, if you are new around here and you'd like to see some more of the SWE Universe mode, then please hit that subscribe button as well. We'll be back in 2 days' time for our next episode of SWE Throwdown, and I hope to see you all there. I've been Chevy Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon for another episode of SWE Universe mode. Bye!
The one, two,